Some parents never discipline their children and spoil them too much, and we can all agree that these kids often develop narcissistic tendencies rather than grow up to learn how to be grateful. However, the doting we're discussing today goes far beyond the usual. This case shocked Japan, not just because of its gruesome nature, but also due to the bizarre family dynamics that came to light. Recently, on June 4th, a highly anticipated trial began in Sapporo, Japan. Hundreds of people lined up, hoping to get into the Sapporo District Court and witness the trial for a gruesome murder that occurred in 2023, where a headless body was found in a hotel. The crime, known as the Susukino headless murder case, was committed by a woman and her parents, who followed their daughter's every command, no matter how extreme. Today, we will delve into the details of this shocking case. On the morning of July 2nd, 2023, at a hotel in Susukino, Sapporo, Japan, hotel attendants became concerned. The guests in room 202 had not checked out by the usual 11 a.m. checkout time. Despite their efforts to contact the occupants by dialing the room and knocking on the door, no one responded. With no other options, one attendant decided to enter the room. The clerk found the room eerily quiet and unusually spotless. The enormous bed was impeccably made, looking as if it hadn't been used at all, unusual for any hotel stay. As the attendant searched for any signs of the guests, he found nothing. Determined to check the bathroom, the attendant opened the door and screamed in horror. Inside, a body was bent over the bathtub, the head part inside and hips outside, with blood everywhere. The clerk immediately alerted his peers, and the police were called to the hotel. A forensic team and the police arrived promptly at room 202 to begin their investigation. They were horrified to discover the body had been decapitated. No identification was found on the body or in the hotel room. Due to the privacy policies of love hotels, no personal information was recorded upon check-in, presenting the police with an initial challenge. There were no signs of struggle or self-defense, so it looked like the victim was attacked while completely off guard. They couldn't tell exactly where the attack started, but the body had multiple stab wounds from a sharp weapon, and the main cause of death was shock from excessive bleeding. They also found that the body was damaged even after the victim had already died. There was evidence suggesting the murder was planned. No weapon was found at the scene, and since the hotel room didn't have any sharp objects, it was clear the killer brought the weapon and tools to move the body. The killer also took the victim's clothes, wallet, phone, and car keys to make it hard to identify him. By July 3rd, they identified the victim through fingerprints and surgical scars. He was a 62-year-old man living about 30 kilometers from the crime scene. The police thought they could quickly catch the killer once they identified the victim, Hitoshi Ura. Hitoshi worked at a factory and was the head of a household with a wife and 2 adult children. He didn't interact much with his neighbors, but those who knew him remembered him as a quiet and kind person. So let's look into his movements. On July 1st, the day before the murder, Hitoshi left home without telling his family where he was going. He drove his white car to Sapporo. He went to a party near the crime scene around 4 p.m. The party was at an event venue called Demode Sapporo. The party's theme was drag queens, where men dress up as women. Hitoshi Ura arrived at the party dressed as a woman without informing his family. Witnesses at the party said Hitoshi was a regular. Photos from the night showed him with short hair, wearing a white cardigan and a knee-length skirt, and he brought his party outfit in a paper bag. People remembered him dancing happily with others and changing back into his original clothes before leaving alone around 10 p.m. So Hitoshi left the party alone at 10 p.m. And about 35 minutes later, he was seen meeting the suspect with the suitcase near a closed club. Then they went to the hotel where the crime happened. Hitoshi often visited this area and enjoyed the parties where he was known as Tomo-chan. People thought he was in his 40s, so they were shocked to learn he was in his 60s. He was about 170 centimeters tall, wore makeup well, and dressed convincingly as a woman. He often told people he liked cross-dressing, but was actually interested in women. In the spring, Hitoshi Ura showed a photo of a woman he claimed was his girlfriend. She looked mixed race, very beautiful, and in her 20s or 30s. He said he met her at a club. So could this girlfriend be the killer? Unable to find the suspect, the Sapporo Central Police set up a special investigation unit and began a full-scale investigation on July 9th. Next, they needed to check the hotel for more clues. They wondered if the victim came in alone or with someone else. The CCTV footage was crucial here. On July 1st, at around 10:50 p.m., the guest in room 202 checked in, but not alone. The person was with someone in white clothes, pulling a suitcase who was about 160 centimeters tall. It wasn't clear if this person was a woman. Around 2 a.m., a person with a woman's voice told the front desk that she or he was leaving alone and then disappeared with a suitcase. However, this time the person was wearing black clothes and a hat pulled down low, different from when this person arrived. This mysterious person walked towards the hotel exit, but then turned back and disappeared where there were no cameras. There are a few confusing points here. The police saw the CCTV footage and were puzzled because both the victim and the suspect were dressed like women. But the body found in room 202 was clearly a man. If the victim was cross-dressing, then the suspect might also be a man, and the voice could have been faked. This person waited briefly before getting into a car and driving off. It didn't take much effort for the police to identify this person as 29-year-old Tamura Runa, who lived in Sapporo. But she wasn't alone. Her accomplice was her 59-year-old father, Tamura Osamu, a psychiatrist and head of a local hospital. The car she got into was her father's, and he drove her home. Although this was only circumstantial evidence, the police were confident that Runa was responsible for the crime. A special investigation team was dispatched to the Tamura home, catching the residents and neighbors by surprise. Upon searching the Tamura home, they found the victim's head. The police also found several macabre videos saved on Runa's computer. One video showed the severed head of Hitoshi in the bathroom, with a gloved hand touching and playing with it as if it were a toy. It was deeply disturbing to watch. Another video documented the crime itself. It began with Hitoshi kneeling by the bathtub while a woman's hand caressed his hair. Hitoshi appeared pleased until a sudden, violent stab was directed at his neck. The force was so intense that blood splattered on the floor and walls. The stabbing continued until Hitoshi was lifeless, and the video ended. The police also discovered around 20 blades, including 4 saws, in the home, which they assumed were the murder weapons. Further investigation revealed that Osamu and his daughter Runa had made several suspicious purchases of blades, saws, and handcuffs, indicating a premeditated murder with considerable preparation. With this evidence, Runa was arrested along with her parents, who were suspected of collaborating in the crime. Yet one big question remains: why did they do it? The motive behind the crime is still unclear. To better understand why and how this all happened, let's take a moment to talk about the Tamura family and their strange family dynamics. The Tamura family's life was, to say the least, unusual. Hiroko and Osamu Tamura had only one child, Runa Tamura. Ever since Runa was young, her parents heavily doted on her, spoiling her and giving her whatever she wanted. They would provide Runa with everything she demanded, as long as they could afford it. It's no wonder that Runa grew up with an unusual dynamic in her relationship with her parents. Nobody really knows when it started. The Tamura couple didn't set many boundaries and often broke typical parental boundaries themselves. According to what was revealed in the recent court hearing, from a young age, Runa completely controlled her parents. Hiroko, Runa's mother, was instructed by her husband Osamu to write and display a pledge stating, "Don't waste my daughter's time. I am a slave. Order first. And be aware of your position as a slave and don't waste gas or money." This pledge was posted prominently, such as on the TV screen in their living room. They prioritized her requests and bought her almost everything she wanted. Luna's belongings filled not only her room on the 3rd floor, but also other rooms, leaving no space to walk. So Hiroko slept in a small space in the living room, while Osamu slept at an internet cafe. Runa frequently skipped school from junior high and continued living at home without working as an adult. Hiroko and Osamu catered to Runa's moods and reported her condition to each other via line, always using honorific language and calling her young lady or miss instead of her name. Also, Runa called her dad, Osamu, her driver. During these drives, if Runa became angry, she would sometimes try to strangle Osamu. But instead of scolding her, Osamu would simply apologize and wait for her to calm down. The Tamura couple simply accepted this, revolving their lives around pleasing their daughter. When this was revealed in court, it shocked many Japanese people because Japan places a strong emphasis on respecting one's elders. Runa's private life was no better. She wasn't known as a friendly or sociable girl at school. Rather, she was more of a loner. She secluded herself from her peers and rarely spoke unless necessary. Reportedly, there was an instance when a boy complimented her dress, saying it made her look like an anime character. Instead of accepting the compliment, she chased the boy with a knife, telling him he should die. Fortunately, the boy escaped unharmed. So was Runa mentally unwell? According to reports, it's undeniable that she's been dealing with some significant mental health issues. It's quite ironic, given that Osamu is a practicing psychiatrist. Whenever Runa gets upset, she exhibited erratic behavior such as throwing things, calling names, and even attempting to take her own life. It's just a recipe for disaster. With her parents spoiling her and catering to her every need, Runa probably felt like she was on top of the world. She believed she could do whatever she wanted and face no consequences. So some netizens are assuming that one day Runa felt an urge to kill someone just for fun, and her parents, who couldn't say no to her demands, might have helped her commit a murder just to please her. Now let's talk about what exactly happened on the night of the murder. It's unclear exactly when and where, but one day, 29-year-old Runa was having fun in a club in the Susukino district. Susukino is a part of Sapporo known for adult entertainment. It's the largest entertainment district north of Tokyo, packed with stores, bars, restaurants, karaoke shops, pachinko parlors, and of course, love hotels. Essentially, it's a place where adults indulge in worldly pleasures. In one of those many clubs, Runa met Hitoshi Ura, who had a hobby of cross-dressing as a woman. While his interest in cross-dressing shouldn't be a problem, his behavior towards women was. According to multiple women, Hitoshi took advantage of his cross-dressing nature to assault women. These reports are somewhat unclear as they have the nature of rumors, but it's established that Hitoshi pretended to like boys, fooling girls into trusting him. Once he gained their trust, he took advantage of the situation to behave inappropriately with them. Based on what was initially known, about the case. Runa and Hitoshi's meeting didn't go well. Hitoshi reportedly sexually assaulted Runa, even filming the act and using the video against her. Runa told her parents about this, and they confronted Hitoshi. Oddly, they didn't press charges against him. Osamu simply stated that Hitoshi was not allowed to contact or come near Runa, and Hitoshi complied with this demand. However, that agreement didn't last long. Sometime before July 1st, Runa's parents confirmed that Hitoshi had contacted their daughter again. People speculated that this might have triggered her parents and eventually led to his death. But during the recent court hearing, shocking stories began to emerge from the defense. According to the defense, when Runa went to a club for the first time, she met the victim and they hit it off right away. He took her to a hotel where they had unprotected sex. After they left the hotel, she had her father Osamu drive her to a clinic to get the morning after pill. Runa was filled with anger, feeling deceived. So afterward, Runa, with Osamu's help, searched for the man until they finally found him in Susukino, and arranged to meet him again at a Love Hotel in Susukino, Sapporo on July 1st, 2023. The next time they met, Runa told the man she wanted to be a queen and do a dominatrix roleplay. She sent her mother to buy some equipment and practice the play with her father. The day after Runa met the man, she told her mother Hiroko that she had brought home the man's head. Runa showed Hiroko the head, which had its skin peeled off, in the bathroom and a glass bottle containing part of the face. She forced Hiroko to hold it and even asked her to take pictures of the head. During the interrogation, the family was uncooperative. Runa refused to admit she killed Hitoshi, instead blaming it on other personalities she claimed to have. She also alleged that she suffered from schizophrenia, which she argued made her not responsible for the crime. Both Osamu and Hiroko denied involvement in the murder. They claimed they did not participate in killing Hitoshi, but couldn't deny helping Runa in other ways. Osamu had accompanied his daughter to buy the weapons, driven her to the hotel, and brought her back home. Hiroko saw the head her daughter brought home, but didn't notify the police, thereby hindering justice. Runa, along with her parents, was detained for psychiatric evaluation. Diagnosed with bipolar disorder, Runa had stopped hospital visits and received medication from Osamu, a psychiatrist. Runa also engaged in delusional behavior, including talking to an imaginary lover and holding a fake wedding ceremony, with her parents' involvement. The primary focus moving forward will be Runa's criminal responsibility. The trial and investigation are still ongoing. The Sapporo District Public Prosecutor's Office has requested psychiatric tests for all the accused from the Sapporo Summary Court. The results of these tests have not yet been made public. The case will undoubtedly see further updates in the future, and all we can do is wait for justice to be served. The next hearing is scheduled for July 1st, 2024. If Runa indeed has a dual personality, as claimed, there is a possibility that the verdict could be an admission to a treatment facility. Also, if it can be proven that her parents were completely unaware of their daughter's criminal plans, they could avoid any legal repercussions. In that case, no one might end up in prison for the Susukino murder case, and the family could potentially escape punishment altogether. The case of Runa Tamura is fresh and continues to baffle people across Japan. There is widespread debate on whether the Tamura couple's parenting style influenced how Runa turned out. Some believe Runa has a mental illness that her father, a psychiatrist, couldn't manage. Possibly the entire family was mentally ill. Everything just can't be explained through our common sense. The combination of a lack of boundaries and excessive spoiling from her parents may have shaped Runa's development. So in the meantime, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this case because it's undeniably one of the most intriguing cases we've come across so far. Do you believe Runa's behavior is a result of her upbringing, or do you think there are deeper psychological issues at play? How do you interpret the parents' role in this tragic event? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching.